What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the hard truths about growing your business and making it successful. I'm here with the Core Four. What's up, you guys?
What up?
No four.
We're actually doing something a little bit different on this one. We're actually going to be streaming live from Mike's channel and my channel. So if we have any technical difficulties, that might be the reason. But we'll see.
I just checked. It's working. It's kind of cool.
Dude, isn't this cool? This is really cool. All right, sweet. So we're going to get into this. We do want to talk about Washcon a little bit. We got a few tickets left. We're coming up really close on the date. Cody, you want to tell them a little bit about Washcon?
Yeah, it will be here. I'm out in the parking lot because it's loud in the shop. I've got guys in there working, but we'll be here at Roanoke, Alabama at our location. 2-day event. If you've got the VIP ticket, you'll be here both days. If you're just getting a standard ticket, you'll be here that Friday, which is next Friday. So that's February 10th and 11th. So all the guys with a regular ticket, bring a clear mind and a big notepad because we're going to get a brain dump on that Friday. Then Saturday, we're going to deep dive into all the VIP guys' individual businesses and see what needs tweaked, what can we do differently. Food both days. It's going to be fun. We're going to be giving away about a $15,000 skid. Going to be giving away a bunch of Kims. I think we're giving away some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going to be giving away about $10,000 worth of our marketing assets, a bunch of our training courses that we provide. So we're going to be giving away how to wash, local Dom, Justin's Facebook ad strategies, the next level, and a bunch of others. We've got the solar panel cleaning academy, we've got the Christmas light boot camp, all kinds of great things that we're going to be giving away.
Absolutely.
And a lot of information. So if you guys want to cut your learning curve for this year, this is the best way to do it. Just be here and be ready to learn. Don't come and fall asleep. Don't come and don't take this nonchalantly. Don't do that. Come on purpose. Not that anybody would do that, but just make sure you're ready to learn because we're going to dump a lot of info on you in 2 days, a day or 2 days, depending on your ticket.
Absolutely. So 1 week left, not a lot of tickets left. If you guys want them, they'll be linked in the comment section and the description of this video. But we can kind of go ahead and jump into the topic. We actually have a super chat already from our buddy Mike. Mike, want to chop the pot. Man, just curious if y'all making the dough y'all claim to make. Why y'all hustling for every dollar? No hate, just curiosity.
I would love to respond to this.
Mike, go ahead.
Yes. And so this is going to Mike Davis. Mike Davis, I don't know you. You're on this, so I'm assuming you're probably trying to gain some insight, some knowledge, trying to make yourself better. And unfortunately, when I read something like this, all I think about, I made a video yesterday about this very thing, having a broke ass mindset, right? Somebody that says something like this, is so narrow-minded in their view of the world that they just can't break outside of their little box that somebody has put them into. And I say that because when someone says you're hustling for every dollar, yes, it's called multiple income streams. And multiple income streams is a very good thing because say one of your income streams starts to slow down a little bit. Guess what happens? You've got 4 or 5 other things that are feeding your bank account. I would rather have a giant bank account than a little teeny bank account, right? So that's why we hustle for every dollar. We're also built different. And most of the people that watch this are built different. It's not somebody that it's going to go punch a clock and go, 9 to 5. It's somebody that is going to not only, punch the clock, so to speak, and do one thing, right? But they are also constantly looking in every direction for other opportunities to grow, to get richer. So I hope that answers your question, gentlemen.
I want to chime in on this as well, Mike. I think when it comes to making money, it's all about leverage, right? Like we could probably ask Mike the same question. If he has a wash business, we would say, Mike, why are you offering other services? Mike, why do you do rust removal? Why do you do oil stain removal? Why are you offering all these other services? Are you just all about the money? It's not about being all about the money. It's about taking advantage of opportunities that present themselves to you. So if you have a wash business, by all means, offer every service under the sun that covers the wash business. We just happen to like leverage. We just happen to like being able to come live and we shoot one video and it gets out in front of, thousands and thousands of people. We like the ability to teach other people how to start things. And so we're all about finding multiples and finding ways to leverage time and energy into more for ourselves, more resources, more freedom. And we started these channels. We started this mission for the same reason you're starting your business, or for the same reason that you watch us, right? You want to get value. We started this to share the things that we know, so that way we could also get value in terms of money, in terms of opportunities to showcase things. So it's all about getting more, right? Within your life, if you settle, if we just said, you know what, we're happy with our wash money, we're happy with, going out and doing the same thing every day, that'll be one thing. And I think that's where a lot of people are. However, we just push for more and we like multiples. Does anybody else want to go in on that as well?
I know Aaron got something.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, this is a good one. I want to
It's-
thank Mike, because this is a great starter for this.
Yeah, no hate to Mike. Look, I think this is a good chance for him to learn something here.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Well,
Cody. I'm gonna go last.
Yeah, you go on and spool that up. But he said it. He's like, no hate, just curious. So we appreciate the comment. But I've got a $8 million a year business here. Why do I need to do anything else? I don't need to. Like, I'm fine. I was fine 10 years ago. With the house we live in now, the cars we drive now, we're basically the same cars, the same level, a slightly better level of lifestyle than I had when I worked for Walmart, right? So what I've done is I've reinvested the profits that we've made into expanding the empire, okay? I'm like Attila the Hun, dude. I'm gonna expand the empire. So there's a few reasons why you would want to do that. I see that a lot. Oh, those guys, they just teach and they got these courses because they can't make it on a wash truck. Like, who said that was the goal? That was what you were? We're all making it just fine, but we, like Justin said, we see other opportunities. So, for example, a year ago, I opened a maid interior cleaning division for the company. I don't need that, nor do I really want the headache, but I opened it because I then a year later gave that company to my daughter, who is now Alyssa's 20 years old, making about $75,000 a year just by herself as an interior cleaner. So she's doing really well, and maybe she'll expand that thing out. We're going to get our wash truck this year back on the road. I got to find a couple of guys I can hire and train to run it, because I can't be out there every day, but I do want to have one running because it's good content. And also it's, $250,000 a year revenue stream. So the reason I do that is because, like Mike said, I want to have as many revenue streams as possible. We've got chemicals, parts. We build our own pressure washers. Equipment is the big one that everybody sees. Training. We do about $200,000 a year just right in that room in training. What that means is I can keep growing the business. I can put a nest egg back, a war chest. If something happens, I can keep making my guys payroll because I've got other revenue streams taking care of things. And so when one revenue stream may hit a snag, you never know. Another one is there to fill in the gaps. And so we saw this quote. I shared it to the guys the other day. It said, entrepreneurship is not about money. It's about serving other people. And I couldn't disagree with that more. Entrepreneurship is exactly about making money. Now, to do that, you've got to serve other people. Those two things do go together, but it's not about serving other people. I can't serve other people if I don't have any money to be here. If I don't have any money, I won't have a company. So the smart move is to diversify yourself. If you've mastered this revenue stream and you can successfully add another one and then add another one and then add another one, that is intelligent thinking. So it allows me to be very generous. It allows me to take care of my church and give things away and sponsor things. And there's an entire kids summer camp program that we basically just get to pay for the whole thing in the background. We don't broadcast that we're doing it, but that's a common mentality that you've got there. It's like, if you're doing good, why do you keep doing more things? You really must not be doing as good as you say you're doing. No, I'm doing that good. Therefore, I get to do more things, because those things that we've mastered, they don't take a lot of my day up anymore. So I've got free available RAM that I can go and put into another venture, right? So look at Elon Musk. Mike's talked about this in another video. He's got his hand in several different huge industries that really have nothing to do with each other. So is he just not really doing good? No, he's actually the richest guy on the planet.
Hey, and Mike actually, Mike Davis, he just threw something else up. And Justin, you can throw that up there. He said it's all love.
Wait,
just
hold on,
want to
Mike.
make sure.
give
Sure, the water
give
business is
Aaron a
actually
chance to
lucrative.
run on it first before we transition. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
because I
think
want
that
to
Yeah, yeah.
segue. I think it's a good segue, but I just want Aaron to have a chance to
it
get
was a
in.
great comment. You know what I mean? Like, why? And I think it's. He says, just curious, y'all make the dough you claim. Why hustling for every dollar? You know, Mike, I don't even know that I could amass every dollar, right? Like, I think that it's very interesting that, you know, the wash world is so small when you think about it. We're kind of on the cusp of something I believe to be really big. Landscaping's like what, Cody? 30 billion, or what
Yeah,
is it?
it's.
What's landscaping per year? I think it's what is
I'll
it?
look it up. I'll
It's
look it
like
up.
20 to 30 billion dollars a year. Washing currently is like 1.8 or 2 billion dollar industry. And so it's funny to me when I hear guys talk about if it's saturated or it's this or it's that. We're just now pushing the boundaries, you know, of what washing can do. And the world is just now figuring it out, right? Like in some countries, this is kind of still unheard of. Yet they have mowers mowing grass everywhere in Japan and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't believe we can amass every dollar, but I also believe it is my duty to try. I believe it's my duty to push myself mentally to see if I can. And like Cody was saying, after a certain amount, lifestyle doesn't really get better in a way. Like, you know, you're still driving a car. I mean, you know, some guys think that like if I had the Rolls Royce, man, like my whole life would be different. It wouldn't. You still have to get in the damn thing, and you'd probably have more anxiety driving down the road than you did in the Toyota Camry. But what does happen is it starts to become a video game. Like Cody was saying, you start to be able to invest and you start to be able to serve more. You start to be have less anxiety about your spend, and that is the biggest barrier to a lot of guys in our industry in general, is their unwillingness to invest, their fear to invest. And so I think that's one thing about the hustle that is noble, that it is constantly, if you can watch the core four push the limits, watch us take shots from all sides, watch us keep innovating with, you know, Quote IQ and Skunk Washworks and some of the stuff that we're doing here. Watch us take hate from the market and keep going. And if you can relate that, you know, and obviously we have haters and we have lovers, we have both. And that's by design. You know, I'll tell you that. The point is that's what you want. But the idea is watch us keep going, apply this formula to your life and start playing life like a video game with your income, investing in things and putting money here, putting money there. Because I grew up broke, not poor, but we didn't have a ton of money. My dad owns a little business down in Alabama, and we're okay, but we never. I mean, eating out was like like going to Disney World, bro. Getting pizza on Friday night never happened. That was like a once a month thing, and it was a celebration. So I aim to give my family something different, and I aim to create a life and design a life where we can invest in things and give back to people. And that requires this amount of intensity.
Right. So in summation, it's almost a game of expansion, right? How far can we expand? How wide can we get our reach? How many resources can we allocate? How much freedom can we get for ourselves? And we advise that you guys do the same for yourself and for in your business as well. So we'll segue. It's all love. Just want to make sure washing business is actually lucrative. I'm gonna keep grinding and eventually get to your level where we'll be the big five instead of the core four. So Mike, I know you wanted to touch on this.
No,
So
no,
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to, because, you know, he kind of clarified where that was coming from. And I am, you know, by design, in some regards, Aaron, the hate, you know, some of us get it a lot more than others. And it's because, you know, we put ourselves out there in different ways. And so sometimes I, not that I overreacted, because everything that I said was, you know, 100% accurate. But Mike, I hope one day, big five. I like it.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll kind of transition. We got some comments in here that we'll kind of touch on briefly, and then we'll make a move out. You boys got me buying equipment as we speak. Watch my oldest boy making money from my $300 power washer that I went all in and going full time. So that's
Awesome, dude.
big win, man. And we talk about all ins, right? Like, you know, it's kind of like what we talked about what was it, a parable where like the old lady was giving all her money to the church and it was only 3 cents, right, Cody?
Yeah.
All in is different for different people, but as long as you're, putting your best foot forward and putting everything that you have forward, you're going to, achieve the best results. And that's kind of what we advocate. Let's see. Just stay broke, says Garrett Sparkman.
Amen.
Just getting started. How do you calculate how many gallons of SH needed per job? Mike says to download Quote IQ and use the free mix calculator. So that's a quick fix on that one. I can't get any customers. They all say that I look like a sheepdog because I can't cut my beard.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds like personal
really
problem.
honest with you.
Andrew, yeah, personal hygiene is something that you're going to have to deal with on your own. That's not something that we specialize in. I mean, we all are very handsome and well kept, but you're going to have to deal with that on your own.
Right. Okay, here's a good one. Sean says, my wife started a cleaning business. What's the best way to get customers for interior cleaning? So, Cody, since you mentioned that you are expanding out, you want to touch on, obviously the fundamentals for marketing remain the same, right, for any kind of service business that we're offering, but maybe you got some insights on the cleaning business.
Well, I wouldn't do what we did because Alyssa's only trying to get, she's just by herself. She had a helper. They parted ways. So Alyssa's by herself. She can only do right now about 30 clients a month. And so she runs some Facebook ads, and that's pretty basic. And then we printed her up some nice flyers. We know the clients, the neighborhoods we want to hit, and we just blanketed those like an EDDM thing. But you could do that, just boots on the ground style, because it's recurring. So she's going to clean them twice a month. So she doesn't need a ton of customers. So it's not like pressure washing where you need a lot more eyeballs, right? You need a lot more customers because you're going to go to that place once a year. She's going to go to those places twice a month. So when she gets to 30, she's pretty much set. So it's not as hard of an uphill climb as something like pressure washing would be. But a Facebook strategy is pretty good. Justin, probably all the stuff we do would work. It would just probably work a lot faster because you're kind of going to get your stack and then have some to backfill as you lose these through attrition and stuff over time. So it's not that bad.
Absolutely. Yeah, the same marketing principles apply to whatever service industry that you're in. So, obviously, we give a bunch of great stuff away on the channel, so make sure you check out some of the marketing videos that we have out. But if you want to come to Washcon, check out the comment section description. And it's gonna be great, man. I'm gonna go through Facebook ad stuff. I'm gonna give you guys a complete strategy. Aaron's gonna be touching on some Google stuff. Mike is gonna be talking about automation, email marketing, things of that nature to really kind of expand. And then Cody's gonna be talking about all the fundamentals, get things done right with regards to the cleaning and stuff like that. Let's see. I think this is another question. Started a used car lot, closing tomorrow. What's the best way to keep the books? Also need best way to advertise a car lot.
Well, again, any business is going to be the same, right? You got to get your business, your name, your brand in front of as many people as you possibly can. And we've got Google, you've got Facebook, you've got all these different online sources, if you will, where you can promote for next to nothing, right? In a lot of cases, it's free. Utilize your friends and your family, right? Let everybody know what you're doing. And I say it all the time, just because you're starting a car lot, just because you're starting a lawn care business or a pressure washing business, doesn't mean that anybody knows that you're in business. So it's your job to get your name out there. And you do that through having a marketing strategy. It's not just one source. It's not just, I'm going to advertise here, or I'm going to run an ad here, and I'm going to do this. You got to have short-term goals. You got to have long-term game plan. And all of these are things that we talk about at length on all of our channels. And so I would definitely look into that. As far as keeping your books, probably, QuickBooks is kind of the ultimate, not ultimate, but QuickBooks is probably the most popular accounting software for pretty much any smaller business, and a used car lot is going to be a small business, at least initially. So I would look into QuickBooks Online, and then it's a great way to get started.
No, absolutely. And so to kind of summarize everything for anybody looking for any marketing tips out there, right? It's all about eyeballs. How many eyeballs can you get in front of with an offer? and translate those eyeballs into customers essentially. Now there's a lot of pieces in between that, but essentially that's the game, right? How many people can we get in front of with an offer and convert them into customers? So wherever you can do that is going to be a great way to go about your marketing. Now there's a lot of tricks in between, but let's kind of touch on the title of the video, right? The hard truths about growing a successful business. So Cody, let's start off with you because obviously you've had like a huge rise, with regards to your equipment company. So what are some of the hard truths that you've kind of come across with regards to growing that?
I was thinking about this, trying to get my mind around what we were going to talk about, but let me push my button here on my truck. I've got my truck out. So initially you're going to have a lot of probably negative self-talk and negative feedback from your friends and family. That's probably going to be the first big hurdle, is you're already sort of nervous to do this, and everybody you talk to is going to try to talk you out of it. So that's one truth that's just it's going to be difficult to deal with. Now, fortunately for me and the other three of these guys on here, we are wired such that we don't give a flying piss what anybody says. And a lot of people never get off the ground because they do care what other people think. So that's one thing you're going to have to go up against is most everybody, they're doing it from a place of love, but they're going to really poo-poo your ideas here. Now, I don't get that anymore because now they know, like, oh, okay, Cody is probably going to make that work, right? So that's initially. The other thing you're probably going to run into early on is just there's so many hats that you have to wear. I think a lot of guys burn out because all they know is all they can see. We see this at serious starter events that we used to do. They only see the I'm going to go wash a house piece of the pie. And unfortunately, there's a lot of other pieces of the pie in any business. It wouldn't matter if it was lawn care, building equipment, or any of those things. It's taken me 5 years to get to the point where I've got other people I can give these other hats to. Some of those people are subcontracted out as far as marketing teams, and we just have budgets for things now. In the early days, you're just going to basically have to do everything. You're going to have to be the guy that goes out and washes, so you're physically doing labor, and you've got to be the guy that takes care of the marketing. Now, I don't mean actually do the marketing, but you've got to figure that out, right, and get it done. You got to be the guy that maintains the rig. That's what we interact with a lot because we sell the best equipment on the planet as far as I'm concerned. But it's equipment and it wears out, and there's bleach and there's power and there's plumbing and there's air leaks, and it's just part of this business, right? So it's just like buying a John Deere mower and thinking you're going to put 7,000 hours on it and never do anything to it. It don't work that way. And that hangs a lot of guys up. The other thing I think is the biggest hurdle. I don't want to say, I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody because your personality is going to be able to tackle some of these things better. It's a lot of guys struggle with initial startup money as well. Like I literally don't have any money to get started. If you're starting this business and you can put your hand on 20 grand, you've got kind of easy street. And honestly, I think that can be kind of a hard truth because if you don't go through the grind, Aaron can speak to this, but so many things he was forced to kind of get dialed in on because he had to do it the hard way. So these are just a few of the things that I've had to deal with. Some of them didn't affect me. I was aware that it was there, but I don't care about it. So it didn't like bother me. Like I'm pretty stoic. I think I try to be that way. I think you should be that way where you're not just in reaction mode all the time. You just kind of be like, okay, we're just going to go do that. And then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. And just matter of fact about it. A lot of this is a mental game because the fact is, if you go and take a pressure washer and you clean this property, you will make this amount of money as long as you're charging accordingly. But that's a given. So it's a mental game, man. In the early days, it's overcoming a lot of fear and overcoming a lot of negative things it's not going to be necessarily easy. We get accused of telling everybody that you're going to get rich quick. No, you're going to get a good paying business that you own over the course of about 2 to 3 years. And then you're going to be kind of like, dang, this is you're going to be where Ben Wilson is now. Right. But that did not happen immediately. And you got to be able to suffer through to get to the other side.
I think what Cody said is probably one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people don't make it, right? Like Jim Rohn used to say this thing about like, reaping and sowing, right? you're only going to reap so much from what you sow. I think is what it was. Aaron, you can probably correct me better on this, but like basically when you harvest, you're not going to get the entire harvest, right? Some of the stuff is going to die. Like some of the seeds are going to get blown away. Some, there's going to be like their bird that comes in and eats some of the seeds. And essentially that's what Cody's described. He described all these things that get in people's way, right? You have the people that doubt you, right? Your friends and family. You can't figure out the marketing. You can't figure out the equipment. Maybe money's the issue. All of these little things really weed away at a lot of the competition. So the only guys that really survive are the ones that can kind of outlast all of these different things. And those are the ones that ultimately thrive in the end. So one of the hard truths about being successful in your business is most people are going to fail. A hard truth is the odds are stacked against you. The likelihood that you succeed it's not very high. It's more likely that you're going to fail. However, if you're able to make it through all of that, and you know that from the beginning, you can persevere and you can find success. So does anybody else want to kind of?
No, I think Cody really touched on it. And I hear all the time, and that's funny. I was just talking to my wife about this morning, how on occasion we'll hear people, make offhanded comments or directly, pointed at us, talking about how, these guys are selling a dream, a get rich quick scheme. They're scammer, and so kind of my thought process on this whole thing is running a business, starting a business, continuing a business is very difficult, right? And most people aren't going to do it. The statistics on how businesses, how long they actually last is it's unbelievably pessimistic and negative. And I mean, I can't remember exactly what the stats are, but like 50% of businesses that are started don't last a year. And then 10 years from then, it's like 40% have already, gone under. There are no magic bullets, right? There's no course that you can buy that is going to make you successful. Washcon is not going to make you successful. What's going to make you successful is taking the things that you learn, implementing them in your business, executing those things, the actionable steps that are proven, right? Proven to work. If you implement those things, that's when you're going to start to see success. But it's not going to happen overnight. There is no magic bullet. There's no magic, a fairy that's going to poof. And, you buy How to Wash and all of a sudden you're going to be, making a ton of money, or you come to Washcon and all of a sudden you're going to have $1 million business. That is not how it happens. It's going to take you, it's going to take your dedication, and it's going to take a lot of hard work. So that's the hard truth that I really have found is there's no easy way. You can shortcut the learning curve, right? You can educate yourself. You can invest in yourself and your business, and that's gonna help you accelerate the path to success. But you're never going to be able to just leapfrog all the hard work. There's no such thing as that.
Right, Aaron, you want to weigh
in? Yeah, I think
Aaron had a lot of hard truths early on.
I think those hard truths that I had, for a lot of the guys on here who are on Justin's and Mike's channel, I went through a 5, almost 6-year divorce, custody battle. Started that battle as a musician in Nashville, touring artist. I've toured with pretty much all my heroes. Left that dream because I couldn't keep going. I had to pay for attorney's fees. So I kind of torpedoed that dream and started a wash business. And I think it's pertinent to what we're talking about here because I started it with $500 and renting the machine. A lot of special forces guys have this terminology, and I've just kind of adopted it to where we are in our world of business is called becoming hard to kill. And that's exactly what I am. I'm extremely hard to kill. And what does that mean? It means that I have an element of grit and perseverance and resilience that is the antithesis of kind of what the normal person was that I grew up around. And how do you develop something like that? I usually work from the negative. I work from asking the pool of people who I'm aware of and who I know, even from family and old friends and people like that. And none of the core 4 because they're a different group of people, but who are the normies back where I'm from and what would they do in this situation? And usually the answer would have been, they would have given up, or they would have complained on Facebook, or they would have said, I don't have enough money, or they would have said, I can't make it happen, or they would have said, and it's just all this just purge of weakness, of just ugly, nasty, just it is the exact situation of the story of the talents that we touched on last time in the Bible. It is that guy who got the one talent. That is the massive amount of people. They bury it and they do nothing with it. And the guy who got the 3 talents became very hard to kill. He said, nah, man, you give me the 3 talents. He's kind of like a Terrell Owens figure, right? A receiver that's very arrogant, that's like, well, I don't like Terrell because he's very arrogant. Well, the problem is Terrell catches like 40 freaking touchdowns a year. So how do you hate Terrell Owens, but yet he's the top receiver in the league in my era of time, right? He was so arrogant. Everyone didn't like him. It's because you just become an individual who says, I'm going to get it done. And how I did that through my trial of time. And I spent probably, I could buy a brand new Ferrari with how much I spent on attorney's fees. I could buy a house in probably like south of Nashville with how much I spent. And so for a lot of guys, they would say, dude, and you can't write any of that off, by the way. It's all personal expense. So that's the ultimate hit. But how do you become hard to kill? You kind of identify what your family, friends, neighbors, all the broke people you grew up around, what would they do? You do the opposite. It's very cut and dry, and I hate that it sounds that simple. It's like, I know a line of people, of normies, is going through this door. I'm going through this door. They're like, well, how do you know that door's not locked? I don't know, but there's no one going through the door. And the funny thing is when I go up to it, I just push it open and walk out, because no one is going to go do the hard thing. No one is going to invest in their knowledge, going to buy the books, buy a Washcon ticket, buy a $399 course that literally, I don't remember the time I did a house wash that was only $399. Like every house wash I've done is like $600, $700, $800, $2,000, $3,000. Ben Wilson can attest. Ben Wilson is one of those guys. And you just have to walk through the door that all of your friends, family, and neighbors are not going to walk through. You reverse engineer from the negative. What will all of these people do? What will they not do? And usually the recipe for you is do the opposite. Your friends and family are going to chastise you for spending the money to come to a Washcon. They'll probably say it's stupid to buy a course. They may even comment on my channel that you shouldn't buy it. But here's the truth. The problem with that thinking is we now have a recipe, right? We've been doing it long enough to where we have probably 20, 30, maybe even 40 guys at this point who took everything we've said to heart, implemented it down to the math. If we said do it, they did it. And a lot of these guys are the superstars that you see in the inner circle. Now, look, they did all the sweat. They did all the work for sure. But the cool part about it is if I can just give them some of the formulas, right, to shortcut the learning curve and make a 5-year deal, a 2-year deal, or a 4-year deal, a 1-year deal, bro, how much time are they buying back with a $1,000 ticket or a $2,000 ticket or a $499 course? When you start looking at the leverage that you can get on your time, and brokies don't value time. So anyone who has a rebuttal for that, you're probably a brokey because you don't value buying back time. People who are of a different, like I hinted on Randy Maddox. He's another guy in the inner circle. That's a guy, I think he's got a skid from you, Cody, I believe. I think he's got some equipment from you, or he's going to be, but he's investing in. He's got the football stuff. He's doing everything we say. He's buying the equipment. He's doing it. And, dude, he is actually making it happen. I think he's actually knocking on doors. Marco Hilby, another guy with an amazing story in the inner circle. He's had a rough go, dude. But Marco is like one of the most positive people who just implementing it. And you know what? The dude like over 6 figures last year, and it was his first year in business. It's truly just being willing to humble yourself, take the formula, implement it. And that's hard sometimes, man, because – I'll tell you this is, and I'll let us segue from here. When I was a musician for 9-10 years, I was on the verge of doing a record deal with Sony Records. My agents were CAA. Like I had an A-list team. If you guys know anything about that world, I could tell you the people who were my people who had signed me to their team. And I had a Navy SEAL team. Okay. To walk away from this, they would call me in my divorce say, dude, you can't just walk away from this, man. Like, we have too much invested. And I was like, I don't think you understand. I'm not going to be a weekend without my son. And if I can't be here, I will ultimately lose him. So washing was all I had. So I had to become hard to kill. I had to do the opposite of what everyone was going to tell me because everyone else was broke. Okay. That's the formula. That's the recipe. And I hope you guys listening here today can implement some of this into your, he says he's leaning mean. I hope you'll implement this into your life, into your business. What it will do for you is it will purge all of the fat away from you. You'll get rid of the fat, and they'll just leave, like the people who don't believe in you. Some of the family will eventually come back around, like Cody said, but a lot of that family and friends will go away, and you'll find a new set. You'll find your own core four of people who are just outright killers in what they want to do. They'll invest in their business. They're willing to write the check like right now. Guys, you guys in the chat don't understand like what Cody writes checks for, like just concrete. Like Cody writes checks for just shit you can't even make money with. Like you just stand on. Stuff sits on it. You see, you can't, like guys are like, how many thousands of dollars did you spend on concrete? And they have an issue with buying a rig for 30 grand. It's like, bro, we spent more on concrete. You can't make money with concrete. So level up your thinking. But the idea here is to make the most potent move. Do the most potent thing you can do right now. And a lot of times it's going to come in the form of doing the thing you don't want to do because you've been in la la land, dude. You've been lackadaisical. You've been not going to the mental gym, if you will. It's going to be hard for a while.
Boom. Cody, you want to say what?
Yeah, it's another thing is once you do get some success and start hitting some strides and stuff, you'll lose some friends because now it's like they know how well you're doing, and it's weird. Like I haven't really lost them. It's not like we don't talk, but it's just that we're in a different place in life and we appreciate different things, and so some of those kind of family members that come, you can just tell they treat you different. And I think that's just part of it, and that's kind of weird. Emily really struggles with that. She's like, because we're putting in an offer on an 8,000 square foot mansion. It's pretty crazy. It is not that expensive in the middle of Alabama, though. I will say that it's just like a crazy deal in this house. But it was weird to me like 2 years ago that we were able to tithe to our church that year more than me and Emily used to make combined annual salary just a few years previous. We were able to give that much to our church in one calendar year. And we didn't even like notice it. We were just like, they give you the little envelope at the end of the year with your taxes. Like, God dang, we tithe more than we used to make household income. So when you get that level and you're kind of hitting your stride and maybe you got 2 or 3 trucks running and you're doing that, it's also a hard truth that you're going to lose some relationships, just not because you failed, but because you won. And like Aaron said, you're going to have to kind of find new people that are on the same. It's almost like you're on a different wavelength now. And here's the thing. It comes off to people who don't know any better. I think they like to label it as, oh, you're arrogant, or you're, it's not arrogant. There's a word here. I just don't know what it is, but you're just, it's rich people, right? It's like, no, dude, I'm the same guy I've always been. It's just like, I'm not gonna go. I paid a guy yesterday to pull some OSB out of my basement closet and replace it. And it was probably like a 3-hour job, and he charged me $450. And I was like, cool, here's, $450. But there was a time in my life, in my dad's life, and my brother's, the way we were raised, that we were like, $450, and we'll do that, about 30 minutes. Yes, I know I can do it. I have the knowledge to do it. It's a very simple task, but the time is not right. That would have been a stupid use of my time because I need to be on a Zoom call. I need to be talking to so-and-so. I need to make sure that this project's done. I got so many things going on. So another sadly difficult truth is whether you fail or win, you're going to have some relationship challenges. And I guess the winning one is the weirdest one. It is very strange.
I think this kind of ties back into the beginning super chat that we got. Like, why are we doing this if other things are profitable? It's because we want everything, right? Like, we want it all. And it's a completely different mindset from anybody that you're friends with, anybody that you're family with, anybody that you work with, because it's like an obsession. It's a constant thinking about how can we get better? What can we implement that's going to move the needle more? How can we get more? And it's just one of the things that we all have. That's why we work. That's why we go so well together. I saw somebody comment, "Why are y'all the core four?" It's because all of our values and all of our principles align, and we've come here to absolutely change everything. And I hope by us hopping on some of these live calls, we can kind of like rub that off on you a little bit, because if you spend time with your friends and family, you will be conditioned into this, like, 9 to 5 mediocre, like working for the weekend type mentality. And that's just something that we don't have. We are working to build a legacy, if you will. We're working for everything. We are playing a board game, a chess game of how can we expand and consume all of this. So it's a completely different mentality. And yeah, I think it's one
I
of the
think
things
you
that
have to be willing to lose anyone. That's how I think. I'm willing to lose anyone. I'm willing to lose you, not because I'm going to be an a-hole to you, because I have to check myself there, not because I'm going to do you wrong or cheat you, but I am willing to lose you if you're willing to be childish and if you're willing to be a hater against my dreams, because I'm not a hater against your dreams. See, that's the interesting thing about winners, is that winners actually want everyone to win. They believe in abundance. That's the interesting thing when you start hanging around these people. They understand that you can win and I can win. Wow, isn't that a thing? I see a lot of people, they believe that if I win, you lose, or you win, I lose. And there's this competitive thing that apparently somebody's taking your job, apparently somebody's taking your money. And that's just not the way it is in actuality, in abundance. And the cool thing is if you just press onward, you will start to create your own niche, because no one can be better at you than you. No one can be a better you than you. And that's one thing that I had to teach myself, is being willing to lose anyone under the facet that they came at me with jealousy or they tried to down my dreams. The first time someone speaks negativity in my direction, I literally developed this like loss of hearing. Like I developed a shield where I actually can't hear them, and they sound like Charlie Brown's mom. Like that's what they sound like to me. If they're negative, I can hear them, but I don't process what they say. And that goes for my family, that goes for my friends, that goes for everyone. And I'm ruthless like that. Like I'll cut family. I'm like, there's some family that's been trying to get in touch with me. Look, I love you, but don't come at me with some negative nonsense. Okay. Because I will love you from a distance purposefully until you're in the ditch, and then I'll come pull you out, and then you won't hear from me again because you're negative. So I don't believe that people should put up barriers as far as their how do I say this? I believe you must put up barriers over your mind and your ears. You must, what does Jim Rohn say? Protect your dreams like a father and nurse them like a mother. And that is something you must take very, very seriously, to the point where you're like, look, man. And my brothers, the cool thing is my brothers have like jumped on board. My youngest brother, Will, he's like 20. He did like 6 figures this year in real estate, first year in real estate, crushed it. You know why? Because I'm like, bro, you can do this, dude. Them other schmucks out there, you're going to outsell them. They're schmucks. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yes, we're doing it. And he's like studying and reading. He's gone to courses. Will has spent like $8,000 going to bunches of real estate events and courses and learning and soaking it up. Pierre's middle brother, he's just an animal. We're all kind of the same product of our father, this ongoing drip of water on the rock. Like we just keep going. We just be hard to kill. Just keep going. It'll get better. Pierce will he's buying condos. He's expanded pressure washing business. He's in real estate now. He's bought land like on the cheap, like over here, finding good deals and stuff. Pierce is a hustler too. He's an extreme hustler. But I think you have to either get rid of those people for the time being, and then maybe you can groom them into that mentality of positivity towards the possibilities that life can become.
I used to have a family member that would tell me all the time that it's not a good idea to buy a new car He'd be like, I would never buy a new car. And he would say it all the time. Never buy
Loses
a new car.
value.
It's not worth
Right
it.
off the lot.
Hey, but
Loses
if you
value.
make enough money, you can buy a new car and write it off completely. But I always had this mindset. I always had this like, oh man, those people are stupid because they got a new car. You got to become cognizant of who's around you, what they're saying. And like Aaron said, when you start hearing something that doesn't add up right here or isn't on that, same level that you want to be at, you got to start bringing up the blinders, right, Aaron?
It's not about like,
don't
say I can't afford it. You have to ask the question, how can I afford it?
Mm.
What asset do I need to build to afford this? Go ahead, Cody.
Me and Mike have teenagers, but you other two got little kids. So I'm going to tell Mike will nod in agreement here. Teenagers are expensive, and we've got a situation in our extended family right now where we had to move back home with mom and dad and bring the two kids with us, and they're just in kind of a tight spot. And I was talking to Alyssa about that, and I said, see right there, I've got to make so much money because I need like an emergency 2 commas in the bank, because how do I know that one day you don't have a life event that if dad can't step in and take care of that, you're screwed. That's my responsibility, right? It's not the government's responsibility. I'm not saying I'm going to prop my kids up forever, but as a dad of teenagers, I want them to get to have the best possible. I'm doing a strategic thing with Mike and Preston because they're boys. I'm spoiling the crap out of them strategically. Then I'm going to take it all away when they turn 19, and then they're going to have to hustle. I'm like, hey, you're addicted to nice things now. And now you got to either like become a drug dealer or you've got to be successful somewhere. But the guy that I was talking to her about he's made plenty of money and he's not poor by any stretch. But now his daughter, who's in her 30s, has had to move back in, bring the 2 grandkids. Their whole life is messed up. And I was like, why don't he just pull 15 grand out of the bank and rent her a house for 6 months and give her some money and kind of help? 15 grand. Where's he going to give them? Like, bro, this dude got 15 grand. He is not mentally ready to part with it. They're complaining about him, being in their house. And it's like, oh, it's messing our lives up. We were empty nesters and now we've got them back. Like, just write the check, bro. And like, or don't write the check, but don't complain about it. So you've got to understand, like, don't be scared of money, because as much money as you think is enough, you're one lawsuit away from being in a mess. You're one medical accident, one car wreck, one kid getting something happening to them where a few $100,000 is like, there went that, like that. It's just crazy how quickly in this world we can swing it. That's the truth of business, is you need a very large war chest. Like, whatever you think the number is, like, probably triple that. And that's what you need for life. Because $1 million, we've been talking about $1 million now since the 80s. Like, that was a lot of money in the 80s. $1 million is no money. It's no money nowadays. Like, think about a guy making $100,000 at a job. In 10 years, he made $1 million. What's he live like? He's broke. That's not enough money. So whatever you think, you got to 3x your thinking. So it's just an interesting thing that we play here. Biblically speaking, we don't love money. I could care less about money. I like what money allows me to do, what money allows me to buy my time back. Money allows me to take time and go do I'm going to go to Uganda this year on a missions trip. And I can do that because I can afford to be out of office for a week and go and do a thing. And it just comes down to being able to have the money to do it. And that's just it's a hard thing. Broke people don't like money. They don't have any. They don't want you to have any. They're okay with you being successful as long as you're not more successful than they are. And if you're around those type of people, they're going to talk you out of a lot of opportunities. So I don't stay around them. I don't stay around them at all. I change my phone number 3 times a year. When I change my phone number, these 3 guys get my new number and about 6 other humans on the planet. And I'm like, hey, too many people got my number. Here's my new number, guys. And they're like, dang it, I got to go and update Cody's contact. But I don't let it in. It's bad for you, dude. It's very bad.
And, the crazy thing is, we talk about it all the time about surrounding yourself with the right people, surrounding yourself with killers, surrounding yourself with people that have the same goals and aspirations. And put us all back up. So the thing about this, right? Like my businesses have always been successful, right? And it's because I work hard. I follow a formula, and when things go astray, you correct them. You don't quit, right? You figure out what works, you figure out what doesn't work, and then you do the things that work, and then you can replicate, and you can continue to do that in multiple different services, businesses, whatever the case is, right? But it honestly, and this is, and I don't think I've ever said this to you guys, but it was, and like, it wasn't until
make
I
you cry,
started.
Mike, or what?
No. But I don't want to boast but like I've been very successful. It wasn't until it was with you guys that I finally kind of was like, wow, like, okay, there is a bigger picture. Like I thought I saw the bigger picture, but it wasn't until, I listened to Cody talk about his businesses. I listened to Justin. I mean, I've learned so much from you guys and Aaron and just like the philosophy of life and business. I mean, it's been so empowering, and it's been a life-changing event for me to be able to talk to guys like this, to surround myself with guys like this, to interact, to bounce ideas off. And this is exactly what all four of us are talking about, right? It's don't let there's never negativity. We'll call each other out if there's some bullshit, right? But because, we're kind of all on the same path, we don't have to. And it's just a great thing. It's just a great thing to experience. And I hope that everybody watching can somehow replicate what we've got here, and find people that support you, that elevate you, that want you to succeed. Right? I want every single one here, and everybody watching. I want you to succeed. I want you to be better than me. I want you to do better than me. Right? And that's that's what winners do. Winners promote. Winners never try to drag anybody down. And I wish the best for everybody, because it's good stuff.
I want to give some kudos to Cody. And if you guys want to be surrounded by more of this, and if you guys want more of this, definitely hop in the inner circle. That's where a lot of like-minded people congregate. But I want to give some kudos to Cody, because Cody is aligned pretty much in like all of his areas of life, right? A lot of you guys can't imagine tithing 10% now with whatever you make. But imagine tithing 10% when you make millions of dollars a year, right? Like Cody just said, he tithes more than what they used to make, because he's congruent. Because, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, but the hole that you give out of is the same hole that you receive from. So, he's willing to be congruent in every area. So this guy said, you change your number 3 times a year? Yeah, absolutely. If that's what it takes to block out all the negativity and all the things that are keeping him down. Right, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, guys, I'll be on a Saturday, somebody will enter a tech support ticket. I'm like, dang, I know exactly what that is. It's something easy. I'll call him from my personal cell like an idiot. And then the guy, I'm not throwing off on the guy, but he'll just, he's going to call my number. So I try to keep my personal cell number, because it just gets blowed up.
I'm sorry, man.
Mike's giving you the number away.
Mike called me yesterday about something, but
I did.
When you've got when you build 400 rigs a year, everybody wants to talk to me, and I'm like, well, I'd love to do that. I simply can't do it. But I echo what Mike has said, is like, networking with other like-minded people has easily made me at least a comma. Like it's a ridiculous amount of, and it's just the motivation. It's the mental drive, because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me like, I've got to stay on my A game, or these other guys here, they're going to leave me behind. And it's not that they're trying to do that. It's just the nature of, we're all pulling ourselves together. How can you, let's bring this back to a practical scenario. If you're in, say, the South Atlanta market, and you're in a good sized little town, I would find a real estate person that's up and coming. I would find a HVAC guy that's up and coming. I would find an electrician, a plumber, and a landscaper. And I'd make me about 5 or 6 people, including myself, and we would have a conglomerate, and we would feed each other motivation wise. We'd probably do a lunch once a month, and we would get, as close as our personalities. Now you're gonna have to factor that in as well. But now all these people, they're contributing to, right? I'm not going to build an app. So guess what? Every Friday, I recommend guys to use Quote IQ. Like, probably 50 dudes a month hear me say, Quote IQ is what you should, because it's awesome. I believe in the product, but also because it's my boys made it. Like, if they wouldn't be my boys if they didn't make an awesome product. They're not gonna make a crappy product. So Mike's not building equipment. How many rigs have I sold because I've collabed with Mike, right? It's not dishonest at all. You're going to recommend somebody. Mike wouldn't hang out with me if I built crappy equipment. He's got one of my trailers. He's using it on the daily. I'm not going to go run. Aaron ain't gonna let me run no SEO because I don't know anything about that. So Aaron has 3x'd my website in the last year. It's crazy because we're all in the same genre, but the reason we can be the core four is because we're not really competing with each other. We're just helping each other pull the wagon smoother and better and faster because we're all saddled to the same thing, which is success. And we're trying to go that way together. And so if you can find some local guys, you know, I wouldn't do this with 3 other pressure washers. Like that's a recipe for failure because you're actually competing for the same jobs. But you can find other guys in the service industry in your immediate area. Those guys will become your best friends because you're helping each other out money wise. You're pitching each other leads, dude. Referral leads like that. If the guy loves this HVAC guy, right? This dude in a $2 million house, this is his HVAC guy, and he recommends you for pressure washing. You got the job, dude. They don't even call anybody else. So that stuff is very powerful. We've watched it in our own businesses over the last 2 years. You know, if I got an issue going on in my personal life, these are the 3 people I talk to. So we encourage you guys to do that. It's a very powerful thing. And it's, like I said earlier, it's a mental game.
Right. I want to finish my point on Cody real quick and then we can wrap or whatever, but it's all about congruence. Okay. This whole live has kind of shifted a little bit. We were talking about the hard truths of growing a successful business, but these are some of the hard truths, right? One of them was that the people in your life are going to doubt you and make comments and things like that. That's why you need to change your circle. But also the congruence, right? If you're not willing to give away 10% of $1,000 in tithing or whatever the case may be, writing the check, whatever that is, how are you going to give away 10% of $1 million? And having the congruence like Cody has to write the checks for things that aren't going to bring in money, like a $12,000 check for concrete in the back of Southeast Softwash. I don't know if you guys saw his video recently, but you have to be willing to write the checks, especially early on, if you want to reap those rewards. And you have to be congruent with the actions, with the words, and all the things you're taking. So these are some of the pieces that are going to help you put it together, but surrounding yourself with like-minded people is another piece as well. So you definitely do that within the inner circle. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap, boys?
Yeah,
No,
I think that like you were saying, you really have to watch your knee-jerk reaction about things, meaning your thoughts. I got my girl reading As a Man Thinketh to me in the truck audibly this morning because I did another As a Man Thinketh book. It's kind of a book I collect anytime I can grab one at the bookstore or used books. They're usually like 50 cents a used book. But As a Man Thinketh, it actually comes from a parable in the Bible. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The book is written about the controlling of your thoughts and how they manifest your actions, right? Thoughts manifest actions and actions manifest your life. So for me, it's one of those things that learning how to control your knee-jerk reaction to prices, I think, is the most tangible takeaway for some of you guys. Like the hard truth about business is when someone asks you to write a check for something and you say, like Cody was saying, from his old people or old family or whatever, that's too much or this or that. I saw a YouTuber of recent, he wrote a check to Grant Cardone for, it was $30,000 per call, and each call went for an hour. And I know that I had to audit myself, right? The first person you audit is you, and you in the chat right now need to audit yourself when you just heard that number. And I would love to know what you thought right when I said $30,000 per call for an hour. I would love to know what your carnal brain, the person who you used to be, because it's still there. Look, Alabama's still here. Okay. I have to fight with it every day. It's not gone. So what did you think when you heard the number $30,000 for an hour on a consulting call? Did you think that's too much? That's crazy. What did you think? If you thought anything but, I could probably see that would be worth it, right? You need to rethink your thought process. You need to really dive down. And it's what the inner circle is, right? The inner circle is it's $149 a month. What is it, like $1,700 or something a year, right? Ben's doing that in a morning. Ben Wilson is cleaning that. So the 149 is really negligible, right? The money's negligible. It's like not even a gutter clean minimum. It's not one job. What it is though is a dog whistle. The ticket for Washcon, some people would say, man, this is really expensive. No. It's a dog whistle, because the only people who are going to be at Washcon are the people that you want to be around. The only people who are going to be in the inner circle are people who are positive, supportive, serious about their business, hustling. There's no riffraff at Washcon or in the inner circle. It's a dog whistle. That's all it is. Because when you pay attention, right? But you also, the weird thing, this is uncanny, is that it attracts a certain type of human. You guys are listening to those types of human here. One of the initiations for one of the clubs I'm in right now in Nashville is $25,000 just to start the process. Then it's another $500 a month to be a part, just to be a part and to socialize. But you know who's there? Everyone there is pretty much millionaires and probably about 3 or 4 billionaires. And they're from all over the globe and all over the country. Would you not pay to be within arm's length of the people who are going where you want to go in your business? Of course you would. If you're smart, you would. But if you're not, you have that knee-jerk reaction that says, man, that's too much. No. That's the old brokey people talking to you. You have to understand what voice is what. But you have to hear it. Because if you hear it, you'll notice the knee-jerk reaction that you have to it. And what do? Like I talked about earlier, we go through the other door. I'm telling you, my name here on the chat is Write the Check, right? It's somewhere around here. Write the check, because every time I write the check, my life gets better. Every time I feel the anxiety of buying a ticket or paying an initiation fee to be a part of an exclusive club, and I just do it because I feel the Alabama in me boiling up, and it's like, you don't need to do that. You're good where you are. It's like, no. I am not writing the check necessarily just to be a part. I'm writing the check to extinguish and kill the old me. That's what I'm doing. So I hope you guys will grab your ticket to Washcon, washconlive.com. Is that right, Mike?
That is correct.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you guys.
Washconlive.com. It'll be linked in the comment section and the description. We're going to wrap on that, boys. What's the word of the day, Aaron? I'm trying to think of like something I could pull from your closing statement.
Word of the day. Yeah,
the word of the day is write the check. That's gonna be the word of the day.
Write the check.
Dude, I love what you said about killing off your older self every time that you write the check. Like
that's my mission.
Wait, go ahead.
That's my mission. No, I feel like Cody talks about. I think it's just because, look, you're in Louisiana, dude. Mike, you're in Georgia. Like we all have that country thing. Like it surrounds us, right? That broke thing. Cody and I are from Alabama, so we just can jank on Alabama folks. But like that's where we're from. If you ever go to Roanoke, you guys have a chance to pick up equipment. You are surrounded by meth. The only thing that's not meth is Cody. All right, so he goes right over there. Right, it's sad. It's not in a sad neighborhood, but there are sad pockets, and you can get into that place. And so that's what we're doing when we're asking you to write the check. We're asking you to kill the old you, to become a new, to that's the only way I know to purge myself of that. And I have to purge myself of that multiple times a year. I do. And that's how I do that, is betting on myself and writing the check.
Boom. Write the check. Word of the day. Comment that down below. Hashtag you're a real one. Check out Washcon tickets, comment section, description. Until next time, hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.